Welcome everyone to tonight's asset protection webinar featuring Gene Guarino. Oh my gosh, what a great friend he has been over the years. Gene, we've known each other for I don't know 10, 15 years, and what a ride. The ups
Yeah.
and downs of the economy and the real estate market and everything that we've done, it's been it's been and through it all, I've loved your integrity. I've loved what you've taught and what you've brought to the table. I'm excited about this. This, as most of our students know, this is a follow-up event from the 3-day summit. And if you're new to us and don't know that this is a webinar series that's been going on for over 10 years, this last year we've had Scott Estel, a former senior trial attorney from the IRS, on a couple times. We've had Bill Danko, the author of The Millionaire Next Door. We've had, oh my gosh, some of the best teaching, I think, relevant topics about here's what's happened with the CARES Act, here's the changes in the tax code, and just kind of a plethora of asset protection related topics. And anyway, if you're not tuning into those, please do that. And again, this is a follow-up seminar from the 3-day summit. There is no way we could fit everybody we wanted to fit in all the topics, and we were teaching asset protection and wealth creation, and this is an important topic that so many of our students are interested in. So we hit what we could at the summit, and the rest of it we just kind of had to to offset to other days. And Gene, we appreciate you being on and being willing to do this. So before we turn time over to you, as always, anytime we're talking asset protection, tax reduction, investments, anything, there's always a disclaimer. We don't make earnings claims. We don't make promises. We don't give tax advice. We teach. We don't give legal advice. We teach sound principles. How they apply to you and your situation, that's for another discussion with professionals or whatever. Not everything we talk about will apply to every person in the room. So with that, Gene, I'm so excited. I get a chance to go down, for those of you that don't know, every 2 or 3 weeks. No,
It
every
feels like
six
that, I
weeks or so when there's no COVID, and and
know.
get to meet with Gene students one on one, and so, some of the most delightful, caring, giving people I've ever met. I've had a chance to go through Gene's care facilities. I've talked to his residents. I've talked to his caregivers, his staff. You cannot imagine a more first class operation than what Gene operates. And he truly lives the motto that he teaches: do well and do good and do well. Gene, it's so delighted to have you here, my friend. So I'm going to turn time over to you, and Kendall and I'll be in the background if you need anything, but
You got
I
it.
don't know that you will. So let's turn it over to your presentation and your screen, and let's get started.
You got it. Well, you tell me when, Kendall. I think you got to shift over. There we go. I think that's it. Show my screen. I think that'll work. You probably want to see this, though. How's that?
I can
That's
see it.
the except that's the wrong presentation, though, Don. I got a better one for you. I
I don't
did
know.
this
I want
for
to see
you.
more of Alaska in the background. That was a fun trip, Gene.
We had, oh my goodness, wasn't that fun? It was so fun to get together with family too. I thought that was one of the best parts of it. So,
Oh man, I loved it. Loved it. Loved it.
It was indeed.
Looks good.
well, thank you, Kendall, and thank you, Don, and I appreciate that very much. First of all, can you see my screen and hear me okay?
Yes,
Good.
Great.
everything's good.
So what I'm going to do, everybody, is I'm going to go through this information, and we're calling this one and done, and I'm going to explain why in just a moment. I'm going to go through it at the end. I'm happy to stay and answer any questions that you have. Can't do it while I'm going through the presentation, though, because there's so much to share, and I want to focus on the presentation. But at the end, we'll stay and answer those questions for you. And at the end, I'm going to give you very special opportunities, something we're doing just for Protect Wealth. and Don and Kendall and the whole company. Again, I appreciate working with you guys as well. You're a phenomenal company, the integrity of, and the guests. I mean, as soon as you mention people like Scott Estel, and everybody else you bring together, I'm honored to be a part of it. And thank you for making this happen tonight. I know a lot of you were at that event. You probably got so much information there, and a lot of it is about protecting your assets. And I'm going to focus on how you can help other people and make a lot of money. And when I say help other people, our motto at the company is do good and do well. So the doing well means make a lot of money. And I'm sure all of you want to make money, but doing good, doing something for others that you're going to get to leave behind and be a part of something bigger than yourself, belonging to something important. What I'm about to share with you is an opportunity for you to do very good and do very, very well. So I'm going to go right into it. Again, as we go along, I know you're going to have questions, so kind of save those for the end. Most of your questions are going to get answered, but I love to keep enough time at the end to be able to answer more questions for you. So first of all, you saw something up there that said Residential Assisted Living Academy, but we actually have a group of companies that we call the AL family. I've been an operator of residential assisted living homes for 7.5 years now. But pretty much right after we got started, there were people asking, Gene, will you teach me how to do what you do? And I'm a teacher by nature. My father was a college professor. My mother was a nurse and she taught nursing. So I love to teach. I love to share. I love to see the sparkle in somebody's eyes when they get it. And really, ultimately, when they do it, when they do something with what it is that I've taught them. So I'm going to share with you tonight an opportunity of how you can do good and do very well. And our group of companies focuses on just one thing, senior housing. And very specifically, we do it in a residential model. So I'm going to explain all of that, what it means, and the one and done theme in just a moment. But the rest of the companies, we have the REL Academy, we have Family Legacy Homes, where we invest in these homes across the country. We have the AL Network, which is our media company. We have a national association, the REL National Association. In addition to that, this year at the National Convention, we launched a franchise. So this is growing and it's getting bigger and bigger because the need is here and the need is growing every single day. And you're going to see that next moment. So when I say the AL family team, it's actually a lot of family. It's not only myself and my wife, Mona, but it's also my daughter, Isabel, my daughter, Victoria, my son, Emmanuel. In addition to that, we have my son-in-law, Garrett, my daughter-in-law, Becca, my future son-in-law, Ikaika, as well as my two brothers, Jim and my brother, David. And everybody else is pretty much students that have come through our training, now have their homes and they help support. But we have a big team of people to help people in this industry. And I'm going to start with some charts and graphs to kind of explain to you why this is so important right now and how big this opportunity is. So right here in this chart, it's a graph showing you in 1960, the breakdown between male and female, down at the bottom, age 0 to 4, and at the top, 85 plus. So that was 1960. It's projected by 2060 to look like this. And the big difference is right at the top. Instead of being this little pinnacle of a few people at the top who are 85 plus, now we have a huge, massive group. So the group that we focus on are those seniors, let's say 75 plus. In 1960, maybe 10 million. In 2060, 30 million. That is the fastest growing demographic on the planet. And that's what's important about what I'm going to be sharing with you. Timing is a key in your success in life. So the average person who's in assisted living today was born in, they're not in what we call the baby boomers, they're in the silent generation. The silent generation are those people born from 1927 to 1945. Those people, they're the ones who are in assisted living. The average person in assisted living might be in their early 80s. This is where they were born on that chart. Now, this is showing the annual birth rate. And you can see we're actually in a little bit of a trough right there. But coming up for the next 10 years or so is this massive increase. And then we hit this spike, this wall, this silver tsunami of seniors. And that's the beginning of the baby boom generation. Now, the baby boomers, we've all heard, they have been driving the world's economy for 70 years now. And it's not just that. You can see what happened. World War II ended. Servicemen came home, got busy, had a baby. They said that was fun. They had another one. Then it just kept on going and going and going. So what I'm pointing out to you is the average person in assisted living is way over there at the bottom of that curve. Right now, business is good. There's a lot of people that need this, but it's getting better and better and better. More and more people for the next 20 years. Harry S. Dent Jr., the New York Times bestseller, The Demographic Cliff, The 0 Hour. He says right in his book, this is the last stop for seniors, assisted living. It is the best place to be in not only business, but in real estate as well. So we're going to talk about that and the baby boomers that are coming. But we're disrupting an industry just like Uber did with taxis and Airbnb did with hotels. We, the AL family, we're doing it with senior housing. And that's the point that we're at right now, this moment in time. But for me, you know, this whole thing started with a phone call. It was a phone call from my sister Ann, and it was about 10 years ago. And she called, and it was about 7 o'clock at night, and I'm in Arizona, so it was like 10 o'clock at night in upstate New York, where my sister Ann was, and she was on the phone and she was frantic. And she said, "Gene, Mom fell. You got to get out here right now." My heart stopped. I didn't know what to think, what to say. I'm thousands of miles away. And I finally got the words out. "What do you mean she fell? What's up?" She said she fell out of bed last night. And when she was trying to get back into bed, she leaned against the footboard of the bed and cracked her ribs. She's in the hospital right now. You've got to get out here. My world stopped. And at that moment in time, everything changed. You see, I had heard about the real estate and the business opportunity in senior housing for a long time, 20 years prior to that. I knew it was coming, but this was Mom. This is where it got very real. And I remember getting in that airplane. It took me about 2 days to get a flight out, and I'm flying in, landing in upstate New York. It was late afternoon. It was in December, and it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun is already setting, and the snow is whizzing by the windows on that plane. I got the rental car, and I went as fast as I could without driving off the road to my mom's house. And instead of ringing the doorbell and getting that big smothering hug from Mom at the door, all I got was a faint little, "Come on in." And I walked through the front door and I saw my mom across the family room there, sitting in a chair. And she just said, "Come on in." And I went over and I gave her a little kiss on her forehead, and I knew everything had changed. At this moment, I had a problem. Not Mom, I did. We did, the kids, the family. We knew at this point things were changing rapidly, and somebody's got to take care of Mom. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's like senior housing. I don't know if I want to do this or not. If you're in business, if you're in real estate, you should be looking for timing and opportunity. You should be looking for the best place to be, not the place where you should have been 10 years ago, but where you should be now and for the next 10 and 20 years. So at that moment in time, we needed the help, and we had choices. Either we quit our jobs, forget our families, and take care of Mom, or we hire somebody to come into the house and take care of Mom, or maybe it's time to put Mom into a home. And as soon as we said it, thought it, we felt guilty, just like any one of us would. Now, you know, we love Mom. We're going to take care of her, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be the caregiver. So at that moment, we had to start to look for solutions, and one led to the next, and we did take care of her ourselves. Really, my sister Chris and my sister Ann did that hands-on. Then eventually we had caregivers coming into the home to take care of Mom, and that gets expensive. $23 an hour is the average in America today. Just 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, that's $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And then we still have to take care of Mom in the evenings and on the weekends. And I don't know about you, but I wasn't designed to be a caregiver. And that personal need, that personal element, taking care of my own mother that way, it's just not who God made me to be. But I knew I would take care of her, and we all knew we would. So my sisters took care of her as best they could. We brought in that caregiver, and then eventually it was time. Mom needed 24-hour care. And at that time, we started to look for what's out there. And what we found was scary. It was concerning. I mean, I remember walking into big buildings where you walk through the front door and the walls are green and it's linoleum floors and you can smell the neglect. And we said, that's not what we want for Mom. She lived in a home. We love her. She wants to be at home, and she would love to take care of herself. She doesn't want to be a burden to us, but we knew she needed the help. So we couldn't find what we were looking for, and that was the moment where I vowed to create it. I said, I'm going to create a residential home where my mom can move into. Not a hotel converted into, not a big, huge, big box facility with 200 beds and nameless, faceless caregivers jotting around the place. A home where Mom would be at home, living with a group of peers her own age. So I created it. And immediately people were asking me, Gene, will you teach me how to do that? And that's where this all began. So this tonight is dedicated to my mom, Marie Guarino. Now this picture right here, I love this picture. It's my oldest daughter, Victoria, who now works with us at the AL Family Group of Companies, and my granddaughter, Farron, my first granddaughter. Here she's less than a year old, now she's 7 years old. And then this right here is a picture of my mom. Now she looks a little different than the picture that I showed you a moment ago, and she's wearing a white belt. That's not a fashion statement from Macy's. That's called a lap belt to help seniors get them in and out of chairs. So mom needed that help, and she was in my sister Chris's house, and they were taking care of her, and we had caregivers coming in. I vowed to create this solution, and that's what I did. Unfortunately, by the time we created it, mom was no longer with us. She passed away. This is about 6 months before she passed away. And I know some of you say, I'm sorry you lost your mom. And my response is, I didn't lose her. I know exactly where she is. So if you ever want to have that conversation, I'd be more than happy to have that with you. But tonight we're going to talk about the opportunity to help those seniors. Now, this is a picture of my mother-in-law, Claire, and my father-in-law, Les. And as life goes, nothing lasts forever. That was about a year ago in this picture right here. And we were down visiting. They live in Florida. And I remember saying to Les and Claire, if you ever need a care home, you're more than welcome to move into our home free. Move into the home free. Well, he never did move into my home. And actually, last night, right about this time, he passed away. It brings a tear to my eye. But the good news is he was well loved, he was well taken care of. And guys, that's what this is all about. We're not just going to talk about money, we're going to talk about helping other people, being part of something much bigger, doing something that will last for a long, long time, making those seniors' golden years into their platinum years. So I'm going to break this down into 3 different sections. The first one is the 3 best ways to participate in this residential assisted living. The second part, I'm going to share with you the 5 keys to success doing this. I've done it successfully, and we've taught literally thousands of people all across the country, just like you, how to do it. Yesterday, I did 2 virtual tours of students of mine that opened their homes, one in Louisiana, one in Arizona, and walking through those homes virtually, seeing the homes they've created, these beautiful homes for these seniors. It's incredible, knowing that it's going to impact a lot of lives. So I'm going to give you the 5 keys to doing this successfully. And then this one and done formula. I'm going to share with you an opportunity where if you want to simply invest in these homes, I'm going to give you a formula to do that successfully called the OLO formula. Because what I'm about to share with you is going to be the ability to do just one of these homes, just one residential assisted living home, and you can be financially free. One and done. I don't know exactly what your lifestyle is, but most people that I talk to all across the country, $10,000 per month is enough for them to live and survive. Some incredibly well, and some they'll make it. But if you could do that with just one single family home, that one and done is an opportunity for you starting here tonight. Now, I'm not a caregiver. I'm not a manager of the homes. I don't go to the homes every day. As a matter of fact, the homes that we started and owned and operated, I would rarely actually go to the homes. I'm not somebody who's going to get called in case somebody calls off. That's not what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you how to do this as a business, the real estate, and or the business, and how you can participate. Now, I'm going to make a statement before I go into anything more. You're all going to get involved in senior housing one way or the other. You're either going to own the real estate, operate the business, or you or a family member may be lying in a bed writing a check to somebody who does. Right now, you got a choice, and I want you to make a good one. And if nothing else, before I say any more, I want to encourage you to open up at least one of these homes, so that if you or your father-in-law, your mother-in-law, your mom, your dad, your grandma, anybody in your family or anybody that you love ever needs this kind of care, they could move into the master bedroom and live for free. Because the reality is a lot of times we get people touring our homes looking for a place for their mom or their dad, and they have no idea where the $5,000 or $6,000 a month is going to come from. They figure it out, they pay it, and they pay it for years, but they could have avoided all of that by just owning one of these homes. So even if you're doing apartments, even if you're doing BRRRR, buy, hold, renovate, rent it out, all of that, even if you're doing storage units or whatever it is you're doing, one of these homes in your portfolio would be an incredibly smart idea for you. an incredible blessing that you can pass on to your kids and not a burden. So my background, I've been doing real estate investing for a long time. I actually started my first business, official business, when I was 16, but 18 was the first real estate. I did a lot of buy and hold, fix and flip, and age 25 was the first commercial. So that was a long time ago. This gray beard isn't painted on. I've had it for a while now. But the reality is I've been doing a lot of different businesses over the past 40 plus years. I'm a professional musician. When I was a teenager, we had a record label, a recording studio, a music school, a real estate investor. I am a CFP, which is a certified financial planner in the US for well over 20 years and licensed in Australia for over a decade as well. I've trained hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and I've mentored thousands and thousands to be successful and to be a part of something bigger than themselves. In addition to that, I've written books and I've hosted radio shows, and the books that I've written on senior housing include The Insider's Guide to Investing in Senior Housing. And that's a book you can go to Amazon and get right now. And we also released Blueprint, How to Start a Residential Assisted Living Business. We announced a third book at our national convention, which was just last month as well. But I've written books, hosted radio shows, but right now I do just one thing, senior housing. Now, I'm very blessed to have been married to a wonderful woman, Mona, and Don and Kendall both have met her and spent time with her. She's incredible. We've known each other for well over 40 years. We've been married for 35. I've got 4 incredible kids and 2 grandkids. So that's my beginning from a commercial side, a business side, as well as a personal side. I want you to know where I come from so you have an idea. You know that gentleman there, his name is Robert Kiyosaki. The first time I met Robert, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, you're the assisted living guy. I've got some questions for you." And I remember raising my hands and I said, "Whoa, moment of Zen. You're the purple book guy. You're asking me questions?" And he said, "Yeah, my wife and I, Kim, we're looking to start a assisted living facility." Now, he was talking something different than what I do, a big, huge facility, 200 beds, that kind of thing. But I remember answering his questions, consulting with him, counseling him. And then when we got back together, I asked him how his project was going. But before I get there, he asked me some questions and he said this one, and I want you to write down the number when I ask the question, and just go ahead and write it down. I want you to have your number. He said, "Gene, what is your number?" I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "How much do you need on a monthly basis flowing into your checkbook, into your account to pay all of your bills for the house, the car, the kids, the food, the fun? What's your number?" Now, I want you to write that down right now. Little interactive right now. Take out your pen, write it down, because I'm going to encourage you to take notes, but start with the dollar sign and then write down the number. How much do you need on a monthly basis? Go ahead and write it down. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do exactly that. Now, some of you wrote that down number easily. You knew it off the top of your head just like that. You knew what your number is. Some of you don't know what your number is, and I'm going to talk to you in just a moment. Some of you said, "I'm not going to write down a number because the guy on the webinar and the gray beard sitting there telling me to do it." Hey, guys, if you're not coachable, if you're not willing to get a little uncomfortable, nothing's going to change for you. Nothing's going to be different. Whatever you've got is what you've got, and it's not going to change. You got to be willing to do some different things. And if you're not willing to learn from somebody tonight and do a little bit of action, well, then maybe this is not for you. But for those of you that didn't know your number, that's a problem, because you're on a wheel and you're running and running and running, and you don't know when to stop. You don't know what your finish line is. You don't know what the goal is. Now, if you know the number is $10,000 a month, $8,000 a month, $15,000 a month, that if you had that much money, income flowing into your account, you don't have to go to work anymore. That's the first thing you need to do. What is your number? Robert didn't let me walk away from the conversation. He made me tell him, "What's your number?" I eventually told him, I said, "Here's my number." He said, "Good, get it. Stop making excuses, just do it." Because see, he understands something, and he has written many, many books, and he's sold tens of millions of them. He understands very clearly that most people aren't really clear on why they do what they do. The why is really important. So I wanted to start there. When I got together with Robert, it was a year later. It was at his 70th birthday party. And yes, that's Mona photobombing us in the background there. And I asked him, I said, "Robert, how's your project coming along?" And he said, "Gene, it's going great. We just got a loan from the bank for $120 million. And I thought to myself, I'm so glad I'm not competing with Robert Kiyosaki. He's building a big, huge project where he's got to fill 200 beds. I don't have to. I can do it in a single family home and fill 10 beds. It's a lot easier to fill 10 beds than 200 beds. And the rates of return, the return on our investment, the ROI can be significantly higher with these smaller homes versus that big, huge project. So we had a great conversation. We've gotten to know each other over the years. And at last year's National New Orleans Investors Conference, we were in the green room behind the stage. We were both speaking that afternoon. And I said, Robert, good to see you again. How's it going? And he filled me in with the project. And it was so much fun to catch up with him. And he was encouraging me to say, Gene, you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. There's so many people who need what you're doing. So I asked him, I said, will you come and be a part of our national convention? And he was. In our third national convention last year, he came, he spoke. It was so much fun to have him there and to have him share with everybody what he thinks about assisted living, what he thinks about the real estate opportunity. I also invited my friend, Jonathan Goldsmith. You know him as the most interesting man in the world with Dos Equis Beer. And I got those two together, and it was a lot of fun to have them share with each other and having them be there together and sharing. It was pretty cool. Jonathan is 80 years old. He's 82 actually right now. And Robert, he's 73. So I like talking to people that are older than I am, that have more experience, and they can see where things are going more clearly. So you're at the right place at the right time. And that national convention was phenomenal. This year's, we did it virtually. And our keynote speakers were Dr. Dale Bredesen, the author of The End of Alzheimer's, and an incredibly world famous individual who has come up with a protocol for helping to end Alzheimer's. We also had a good friend of mine. I've been friends with him for a decade now, 12 years now, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank. And he's done almost $6 billion in sales. He was teaching people how to present yourself properly, to fill your home, to get a loan, to get investors, whatever it may be. So we had over 20 educational sessions. It was phenomenal. We had over 1,000 participants from all over the country, and it was a great place. It was a great time. But I want to start tonight by asking you why. Why are you here? Why did you go to Don's event? Why? What are you looking for? What's it all about? And I know you've heard that before, you guys, but I want you to really think about that. Why do you do what you do? Because if you're not clear on the why, you won't know how to get wherever it is you want to go, because you don't even know. You may be where you want to be, but you're not even sure yet. So tonight, I'm going to ask you these questions, and I want you to write down the answers in your notes as soon as it's clear to you. Why? Why residential assisted living? Why you? And why now? Those are the three questions, and I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to encourage you to take action, because the need is so high, the opportunity is so huge, and it's good not just for today, but for the next 20 years. So I'm going to use the number of $10,000 a month. Most people can get by on that. Now, I know you want more, and I get it. You can get more, but if you can do that with one single family home doing residential assisted living, well, heck, one and done. One and done. You can do more than one. I've got students who've got 13. Others whose goal is to have 100 of these and sell it off to hedge funds for hundreds of millions of dollars. So you can do this big, you can do it small. It's up to you, though, to decide. But what are your options with the single family home? Because that's what we're talking about, residential assisted living. We could do a wholesale deal, get it under contract and sell our rights to buy it to somebody else. We could fix it and flip it. We could make $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. That's one option. That's where most people start in real estate investing, because it's quick cash. Then people say, but I like residual income. I want to get paid over and over and over. So they think about renting out that home. And that home itself, if you get $100 a month in positive cash flow, after you pay debt service and you pay for utilities and management and repairs and all of that, $100 a month is kind of like the number that most people say, that's the minimum I'm willing to accept. And if it's an apartment building, 100 units, 200 units, it's $100 per door. But $100 a month won't pay for a round of golf or a nice dinner for two. I need more than that. So what else can we do with a single family home? Well, we could rent it out by the bedroom, group home. So maybe it's 4 students, each one renting out a bedroom. Maybe it's 4 seniors in the Golden Girls model. So we can do that and increase our cash flow dramatically. Or maybe use it for short-term rentals. Airbnb has been a wonderful opportunity for a lot of people. Nobody ever thought or even imagined that in the last 10 months, they would have been shut down though. You can't rent out your home. Or Hawaii, which is a place we love to go, you've got to rent it for 2 weeks. We won't even let you leave the house. Nobody imagined that would ever happen, but it did. And now some of those people who have those Airbnb homes are saying, I wonder if I can use that home for assisted living instead. So when I say one and done, I'm talking about the residential assisted living model, $10,000 per month after all of your expenses. And I'm going to show you how we get to those numbers. But I want to talk about where we're going, not where we've been. And Wayne Gretzky, the hockey player, the great one, he's not that big or that strong or that fast. And when he's asked, how are you so good? His answer is simple. I go to where the puck is going, not to where it's been. So when it comes to business, if you're looking to create something, a typewriter today, it's kind of useless. A telegraph is in a museum. If you're saying I'm going to do McMansions or mini homes, well, that was 10 years ago. Short sales, foreclosures, that may come up in the future, but maybe not. Student housing, well, my goodness, that has changed. But what's not going to go out of style is taking care of mom and dad. It's real. It's never going to stop. As a matter of fact, during this time where other people got laid off, let down, put away, senior housing has just thrived through it all. Nobody got laid off. Nobody's going to not take care of mom or dad. It's the one industry that I know of besides Amazon, and good luck recreating that or competing with that. It's the one industry that I know that has thrived during this time, and it's only getting better and better and better. So that's what we're going to talk about. So Gene, you said residential assisted living. What is it? So I'm going to give you a definition. It's a group home for seniors. It's not one senior, one home. It's 10 seniors, 12 seniors, 6 seniors in that one home. They're not just living there. It's not just a retirement community. Their activities of daily living are being taken care of. So what's an ADL, activity of daily living? It's everything you did today after you hit the snooze alarm. Bathing, dressing, eating, medication management. Nobody moves into assisted living unless they need assistance. So it's not a medical facility. It's not doctors and nurses and gurneys. Just because you get old doesn't mean you move to a nursing home. That's nursing, medical. But you can't stay home alone 24/7. They need help. And that's what residential assisted living is. It's not this. That's your typical nursing home. And it's not this, the Golden Girls, the show from the 80s, 4 mature women living together, taking care of each other. That's a great business model, but that's not assisted living either. It's right in between these two. It's a single family home in a residential setting. Now, these are some of the homes that we've started and created. And you'll notice that those homes are single story, single level, ranch style. Doesn't have to be. But obviously, if it is, then if a senior has any mobility issues, there's no stairs. But if you have a 2-story or a 3-story home, you definitely can use that as well. The inventory, the type of homes, it's a lot of places across the country, 2- and 3-story homes. So the bedrooms may have to be on the ground level, so maybe some reconfiguration, or if the bedrooms are upstairs, the seniors need to be mobile enough to get up and down the stairs, or there are solutions for that as well. So this right here is me standing in the home, one of the homes you saw the outside of, and you can see it's a bigger home than usual. Doesn't have to be, but that's what we teach, what we like. It's a really nice home. A lot of people will look at this and say that's a luxury assisted living, but it's a home, not a hospital. We furnish the home. The seniors don't bring their furnishing. We furnish the home. They bring their clothes, a few things, but it's not all of their furniture. We furnish the home. So it's a nice home in a residential setting. We furnish it. And inside the home, it's a group of seniors. It's not a rental property for mom, a dad, 2 kids, and a dog. It's a group of seniors living together, being taken care of. Now, you'll notice in the picture, there's a lot more women than men. Why is that? No, it's not because they're killing us off. It's because statistically, women will live longer than men. So if it's a husband and wife, and if he passes away, she may live for a year or 5 or 10. And at some point, she may need that assistance, that assisted living. So there are more women than men in assisted living homes. In addition to that, they do live together. They're not going to be in the same bedroom unless they're married, but you understand. It's a home, not a hospital. And that's why I put this picture on. It's not doctors and nurses and gurneys. That's one of the myths that people have. It's a home, not a hospital. They can have a party. They're in bed by 7:15, so it's okay. Now, that is O'Doul's, by the way. If they want to have an actual alcoholic drink, as long as they have a note from the doctor, it's okay. But it's a home, not a hospital. Now, I want to introduce our motto to you: do good and do well. I said it, I believe it, I live it. Doing well means make a lot of money. And I know some of you, you came here because you love the idea of being able to help other people. And having a big heart is a wonderful thing. That's doing good, helping others, leaving something behind, bigger and better than just yourself. But the combination of being able to help others and leaving something good and doing very well financially is a wonderful combination. And if you have all the money you need, you can give away the extra money. This is a great time of year, Thanksgiving, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people are saying I'm collecting money or food for people, and I love to donate towards that. But you can't give what you don't have. So if you want to give, if you want to start a foundation, if you want to do something like that, you can. Just make a lot of money so that you can really bless a lot of people. So do good. This is how it comes back to us. Thank you notes. I mean, these are notes from family members who are saying, thank you for taking care of my mom. Thank you for taking care of my dad. And here's a check for this month for 5,000 or 6,000 or 8,000 or more. So do good, do well. But what do you really want? Before I show you how to get that, I think all of you want to be at the right place at the right time. How many of you wish you had $10 million cash in the bank when the market crashed so you could buy a lot of real estate for pennies on the dollar? But being at the right place at the right time sometimes is easier than we think. The baby boomers are here. They are the fastest, the super seniors at 85 plus is the fastest growing demographic. But the baby boomers have been driving the world's economy for 70 years now. And their last stop is senior housing, assisted living. So your timing for senior housing is perfect. What else do people want? Well, you want to have less competition. So when I say less competition, what is everybody else doing? All the things I've talked about: fix and flip, wholesale, foreclosure, Airbnb, vacation rentals, rental homes, apartments, storage units, mobile homes. But if I were asking you, does anybody here listening, are you doing senior housing right now? Maybe one, maybe two of you. But usually when I'm in live in front of a group of people, I'm the only one with my hand in the air. And then I ask the question, if I'm the only one doing it, how much competition do I have? So instead of competing for a good deal, I'm creating a nice opportunity in a market that is growing exponentially. You don't need a crystal ball to figure this out. There's 77 million baby boomers, an average of 10,000 people a day turning 65. More importantly, 4,000 people today and every day turn 85 years old. That's 120,000 people this month, next month, and every month for the next 20 years. That's 1.4 million people this year turning 85 years old. Not all of them will move into assisted living, but hundreds of thousands of them will. And there's no room in the inn. There's waiting lists on the good places and even waiting lists of the bad ones. So I'm here to tell you the opportunity is huge. It's getting better and better. 90% of all seniors want to stay at home. That's a survey that was done by AARP. But 70% are going to need help. They want to stay at home, but they need that help. So the reality is they're going to need housing. They're going to need care. That's the opportunity. You know, I mentioned Harry S. Dent Jr., another friend of mine. He wrote the book, The Demographic Cliff. Page 90, the opportunity of our lifetimes. That's a big statement. Assisted living facilities. There it is, clear as day. Robert Kiyosaki, Harry S. Dent Jr., Gene Guarino, Don Kendall. Those of us who understand, those of us who are getting a little bit older, we understand where we are and where we're going. So before I get into it, the common questions I get, Gene, I'm not a doctor or nurse. Can I do this? Yes. You don't need any medical experience at all. Well, Gene, I have a home I think might be good for this. Can I use that? The answer is maybe. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. We'll talk about that. And the third is, well, how much money can I make? Well, we're going to talk a lot about that as well. So if you're taking notes, and that's my teacherly way of saying, write this down, I'm going to now share the three best ways to participate. Now, there is a real estate play, and there's also a business play. You can do either one, or you can do both. And I'll show you how to invest in a little bit. But the first way is to own the real estate and lease it to an operator. So you're just the real estate investor. But instead of renting it to a family for a year and hope they stay for the next year, raise the rent 5%, we're going to do it differently. We can rent that same home to an operator for residential assisted living at a higher rate. When I say twice the market rate, that means if you're renting the house for $2,000 a month right now, you could rent it for $4,000 a month to the operator of the assisted living. In addition to that, that operator doesn't want to sign a 1-year lease. They're going to want a 5-year lease with 5-year renewals. They're going to be willing to take care of the small maintenance because curb appeal and taking care of the home is important for them. You can take care of the large maintenance by just getting a home warranty policy. So now your heat and hot water and your electric and your roof is all taken care of through that home owner's, that warranty that you can get on that. The third, it creates significant income. Now just imagine taking a single family home, instead of renting it for $2,000, you rent it for $4,000. Instead of making a couple $100 a month, you're making $2,000 a month in profit, because the extra that you charge is pure profit in your pocket. 4 or 5 of those homes, you're financially free. You can do that this year just owning the real estate with 4 or 5 of these homes. We have people who have done exactly that. As a matter of fact, that's the spot that I'm at right now. I created the businesses, I've sold the businesses off, I own the real estate, and I lease the real estate to the owners of the business for twice the market rent with long-term leases. And I love it. It's a beautiful thing. I also invest in and own other homes as well, but you get the point. So the second way is to own the real estate and operate the business. Now, don't confuse that with, Gene, I don't want to be a caregiver. That's not what I'm saying. If the owner of McDonald's if somebody owns a restaurant, let's call it McDonald's, if somebody doesn't show up for work, the owner doesn't fly in to flip the fries. That's not what's going to happen. The manager who's there every day is going to take care of it. They're going to either find a replacement or do it themselves, but they're not going to call the owner. I'm going to teach you how to be the owner, in control, to be hands-off, not hands-on. Now, I'm going to get into this in a lot of detail, but the third way is to be a private lender or a joint venture partner. And that OLO formula is going to give you the keys that you need to do that successfully. Because I know some of you listening to me, the reason why you went to Don's event, that incredible event, the Protect Wealth event, was to protect your assets. You've got money, you've got assets, you want to keep it and protect it. I got it. I understand that. You want to write a check and receive checks, just get passive income. I got it. I'll show you how to do that as well. But then this one here, this is where it begins, because I'm about to get into the money, how much you can make, what costs what, where does it go, all of that. But we have to start with this. What does it cost to live in assisted living? And I'm going to give you some facts and figures right now. This comes from Genworth. They're a private insurance company, and they do long-term care insurance. So genworth.com/cost of care is where these facts and figures come from. Right now in the United States, the average, so there's people who pay more and people that pay less, but the average in America today is $4,051 per person per month. So $4,051 per person per month. Now, you don't have one senior in the home. You might have 10 seniors in the home. So I'm going to make our math easy. Let's say it's an average home in average America. It's $4,000. Make the math easy. And let's do it times 10. We have a home licensed for 10. That might be 5 bedrooms with 2 people in each bedroom. It could be a home that you've converted space into additional bedrooms. Maybe it's a 3,000 square foot house. Doesn't need to be a whole lot bigger. I would go a little smaller, but that's a good size, a good average home, rule of thumb. That's potential gross income of $40,000 a month. That's significant. Now, that's not your profit. That's the gross income. So what's the overhead and the expenses each and every month? Well, first of all, it looks like your own home budget. Start off with cable, internet, newspaper, phone, magazines, food, activities, landscaping. In the middle, you have things like caregivers and facility manager. That's your biggest single expense, paying the caregivers to take care of the residents. And then everything else. But I'm going to give you a big number, $25,000 a month. And I'm going to give you another number, big number, but smaller, $15,000 a month. Now, the obvious difference is $10,000, but the less obvious difference is doing it yourself or hiring others to do it for you. Here's what I mean. Right now, our National Association has counted it up. There's just about 29,000 of these residential assisted living homes in America today. You may never have heard of this concept, but there's almost 30,000 of them right now. Now, that sounds like a lot, but even if there were 10 people sitting in each one of those homes, that's 300,000 people. There are 30 million seniors. 3 million of them are going to need help for sure. That's a lot of need. But most of the people that own and operate those homes, they're mom and pop shops. What I mean by that is the kids moved out, they've got extra bedrooms, and they say, let's move some seniors in. We'll go ahead and we will make some extra food, do some extra laundry, take care of those seniors, charge them $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. We'll move in 3 of those seniors, and now we live for free. And we don't have to go to a job because we have a job. We're the caregiver. We're the cook, the baker, the candlestick maker. That's $15,000 in expenses for the house and everything else. That's not what I want you to do. That's not it at all. I want you to hire a manager who's going to find the caregivers, who's going to fill the home, and now you're going to be spending that $25,000 a month. And when you do that, there's only one expense left, the debt service, the rent. So what's the debt service or the rent? Average home in America today, 3,000 square feet, might be $2,500 or less. So I'm going to put in $5,000 twice, in case you just want to lease the real estate from somebody else and operate the business. That still leaves you with a net of $10,000 or $120,000 a year. Now that $10,000 or $120,000 is almost twice the household income average in America today. But that's not you having a job. That's not you working 40, 60, 80 hours. That's you managing the manager. And I'm going to explain that. But some of you are saying, Gene, 4,000, my mom, my dad, they were spending 6,000 or 8,000 or 10,000. I've heard numbers as high as over 20,000 for one individual in a care home to be taken care of. Now, 4,000, let's just raise it a little nicer home and go to 5,000. Your gross income is higher, but your expenses are exactly the same. The caregivers get the same amount. The food costs the same. Let's say we did it in a little nicer neighborhood and we charge 7,000 as the debt service or the rent. Now we're netting 18,000 or 216 a year. Now, if you couldn't get by on 10, I'm guessing you can get by on 18,000 a month. And then I want you to go one step farther. Think a little bit bigger and nicer. So maybe it's $6,000 a month, and instead of 10 beds, we have 14 beds. Maybe it's a 5,000 square foot house or bigger than that. Now your gross income is potentially $84,000 a month. Let's increase the expenses. Let's get an additional caregiver on staff. Let's hire a chef with a white jacket and a white hat, cook to order breakfast and lunch, preparing a gourmet dinner that's served by the caregivers at the end of the day. And let's do it in the nicest home in your neighborhood, $10,000 a month. Now you're netting 40 or 480 from a single family home. Now, I know I blew you away. Some of you right now, from a financial standpoint, you're like, I don't even know how I'd spend 40 grand a month. Some of you are saying, Gene, can I do more than one? Yes. It's actually easier to have more than one of these homes, and you'll see that in just a moment. So now that you know the 2 elements, real estate and business, you know the 3 ways you can participate. Now let's talk about the 5 keys to your success. And it starts with location, location, location. And I don't mean oceanfront or mountaintop. We need to start with understanding demographics. So I'm going to break this down and call it 5 levels. Level 5 is the nicest homes in your area. Think about the nicest neighborhoods, the nicest, most expensive homes in your area. Let's use that as the benchmark for level 5. Level 1, the dregs, the other side of the tracks where you don't even want to slow down the car because you're not sure if you're going to end up with 4 tires or 3 by the end of the day. Certainly don't want to let mom off there to live in a care home. The sweet spot is level 3, 4. So above the middle, but not the top of the top, the cream of the crop. Financially, what that translates to is maybe $4,000 to $8,000 per person per month living in that home. Now, at the bottom, level 1, the government will pay for that. Medicare, Medicaid, all of that. We don't focus on that. The top 10,000 plus, not that many people can afford that. So the sweet spot, we've learned, we've taught thousands of people, helping tens of thousands of people move into homes, $4,000 to $8,000 a month. So let me give you an example. Level 1 or 2, this is an example right here. Blue collar neighborhood, reasonable house. The house was valued at $180,000. The business inside, that residential assisted living business, was valued at $150,000. So when I say $330,000, one of our students bought the house and the business. The house is 180, the business was 150. Pause. We're teaching you right here tonight how you can create a business out of scratch from nothing that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And just like me, you can sell the business and keep the real estate. Lease the real estate back to them. After you've made hundreds of thousands of dollars on the business, you're no longer operating the business at all. You're just collecting high rent, long-term, low impact. Location. First thing I want to point out is you'll notice the blue circle. That's the location of this home. Then you'll notice the highways, the 101 going north and south, the 202 going east and west, conveniently located, easy to get to. That's what I want to point out on this slide. Now, that home is down here, not my focus, not what I'm going to suggest you do. Let me get the other end. This is a nicer home, level 4 or 5, $1 million home. Now, this home itself, a nicer home in a nicer area. On the map in the green circle, you see the house. I want to point out 3 things to help you learn about location. On the right-hand side, you notice the highway, conveniently located. On the top, airport. Now, that's not the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, the international airport that everybody flies in and out of every day. That's the Scottsdale Airport. That's G5s, private jets, big money. That Kierland Golf Club, top left, one of the top golf courses in the entire country. And all around that house, hundreds and hundreds of homes and thousands of people that are at a higher level, level 4, level 5. That's the focus. That's what we teach you how to do. So there's a real estate play as well as a business play. And on the real estate side, location is number 1 and most important. I don't care if the house is free. If it's in the wrong location, it's not going to work. That's one of the big mistakes that people make who say, hey, I heard you on a webinar and I went out and did this on my own. I got a beautiful house, bought it for nothing. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. How do I fill it? Well, you made mistake number 1. Next is zoning and HOAs. Yes, you can do this in a neighborhood with an HOA. Yes, there is zoning involved, but it's not a multifamily. We're not changing the zoning. In addition to that, square footage. In general, bigger is better, but 300 square feet of space per resident is very comfortable. So if you have a 3,000 square foot home, we can easily have 10 to 12 residents in that home comfortably. Number of bedrooms, size of the bedrooms, bathrooms, how many do we need, all of that, all of those details, that's what we teach people how to do. And the doors and the floors, wide doors, smooth floors, carpet's not good, it absorbs liquids of all kinds. Hardwood, linoleum tile, good, easy to clean and maintain. The flow of the home, in addition to that, fire suppression, do you need it? And if you don't need it, if you put it in, now your seniors are even safer. So you're head and shoulders above the competition. Fire suppression, smoke detectors, grab bars, and the potential to add space. This part, evaluating the real estate, knowing where to do it, how to do it, what to do and what not to do, incredibly important. So the 5 keys to success, the next one is your team. If I were to ask you how many of you want employees, none of you would raise your hand. I don't either. How many of you want team members though? People who are on the same page heading for the same goal. Well, that we'd all want. And if I were to say, well, you don't want employees, do you want to do everything yourself? You're going to say, no, I don't want that either. So when you make a schedule for a caregiver, you have to show up this day, this time, that's an employee. So we got to deal with it. It's one of the necessary elements of what we do, but we'll teach you how to do it right. But when I say the team, this is the business side of things, not the real estate side. And I want to teach you this concept, the 3-legged stool. If you have a 3-legged stool and one of those legs goes away, the stool falls down. So if I were to ask you which is the most important leg, the answer is they're all important. If you're all about the business and you don't like people, it's not going to work. This is not a good business for you. And if you're all about people, you love people, but you don't care about money, it's not going to work. We need to have a healthy respect for all of them, and the staff is right in between because they are people. They have real people, families, kids, parents, all of that, but they need to get paid and paid well. But they're not nurses and doctors. They're getting paid minimum wage plus a couple of dollars. So we'll go into all of that detail, but the next piece is your team. Who are they? Well, the administrator, the manager, that day-to-day person is the most important person on your team. Frankly, in any business that you have. In the RAL Academy, in the AL family, it's my daughter Isabel. She's the COO. She is the most important person there because everything else flows underneath. But the administrator in a care home could be a caregiver who's also acting as the manager or the administrator. This is a picture of one of my former managers. Her name is Mariella. When she came to us, she was a caregiver. She had a decade of experience as a caregiver. She came to work for us as a caregiver for 3 or 4 years. She moved up to being an assistant manager. Then she moved up to being a manager. She now owns 3 of her own homes, and I am so proud of her. Part of what we can do is not only help the residents and their families, but help people, the caregivers, become managers and the managers become owners. And maybe that's even part of your plan to help those people, and that's a part of your investment as well. But the caregivers, even though they're the lowest paid, they're some of the most important people. They love seniors. Now, the really interesting thing is they come from all over the world. People move to the US even to this day. You hear all kinds of stuff on the news, but this is still the place that everybody wants to go to. They want to be a part of. So we have caregivers from the Philippines, from Romania, from North Africa, a few from the US, a few from Mexico, but they come from all over the world. Now, that's an important piece because a year ago, if you were to ask me, Gene, what's one of the biggest challenges? I'd say people. That means the residents, the families, the managers, the caregivers, but hiring good people, it doesn't matter if unemployment is 3% or 13%. It's always about hiring good people. But all of these people that you see there, they love seniors. They don't want to be a barista at Starbucks. They don't want to be a retail store clerk. That's not who they are. They love seniors. It's what they do. Many of them have been with us for years and years and years. So today, because of the economy and so on, this has been a go-to place to work. It's been a place that we're hiring, where other people are firing and laying off and closing down. We can't, we won't, we don't. So more and more people are becoming available as caregivers, and that's a beautiful thing. The third element is the client. So who is your client really? Well, it's not the senior who lives in the home. That senior who lives in the home, they didn't choose the home. They don't write the check each month. It's their kids, the family. They're the ones that choose the home. They're the ones that write the check. So the senior, the resident who's living in the home, they don't know that it's costing $6,000 a month to take care of them. But the family does. And they chose the location because it's close to them. So it's easy to go visit mom and dad. It's convenient for them. That's why the location is critically important. I want to be in the right place, the right location. And when we talk about these 5 keys to success, the next one is getting paid. How do we get paid? Where does that money come from? Well, the money doesn't come from Medicaid and Medicare. That's not what we focus on. Now, if you do, the average reimbursement from Medicare is going to be about $2,000 a month. That includes somebody's Social Security and a pension they have, and the state tops it off to about $2,000 total. I already told you the average home is $4,000. So if all they have is $2,000, it's going to be a very substandard home in not a nice area of town with understaffing and bad food and bad location. That's not the game we play. That's not what I'm going to encourage you to do. So we don't focus on Medicare and Medicaid. The VA, veterans, I respect veterans and they get benefits through the VA, and that's wonderful. But I don't focus solely on veterans. Most of them are male. Remember I said most of the residents in these homes are female? In addition, that veteran who's a senior has to go to the VA and apply for those benefits. They receive it and they can use that to pay for the care in our home. So we don't focus on that, although we have veterans who are in our homes for sure. And then this one, long-term care insurance. The fact is, there's only a few of these insurance companies. Genworth is one, Metropolitan, John Hancock. And those people that come to our homes and have a long-term care policy have probably had that policy in place for 30 or 40 years. And that's a beautiful thing, because when they bought the policy 30 or 40 years ago, they had a benefit of probably $100 a day. But with cost of living increases inside that policy, it might be $300 a day. That's 30 days in a month, 300 a day, that's $9,000 a month. And even if I'm only asking $4,000 a month, if there's an insurance company that's willing to pay $300 a day, that's what they're going to pay. And it's okay, because if I don't charge the insurance company that money, they keep it. I think it's better if we get it. But only about 10% of the seniors who come to your home are going to have a long-term care insurance policy. The rest of them are going to use their assets, the cash, the IRAs, the investments, their own home. And once all of that is gone and liquidated and spent, then the kids figure it out. The kids who are 50, 60 years old, they start to use their own resources and their kids' college fund and their future retirement account. All of that could have been avoided if they just had one of these homes, which is exactly where I started tonight, encouraging you to get one of these homes for yourself. Now, I wanted you to understand where the money comes from, and we understand that now. But the last piece is the systems in place for you to be successful. You see, when I first got started 7.5 years ago, there was no class to go to. There was no anything available to me at all. It was just figure it out. That's painful. That's expensive. That can be heartbreaking, and it can be career ending because most people don't have what it takes to get through it. I was smart enough to say, look, I don't know anything about this, so I'm going to buy an existing business. So I bought an existing business and the real estate, and I learned it that way, which is expensive, hard, and difficult. And you can avoid all that now because now I know what to do. I started another one, and we've taught thousands of people how to do it. And now we know step by step by step exactly what to do, and more importantly, what not to do, where to do it and where not to do it, how to do it hands off and not hands on. We know where the right locations are, the sweet spot in all of this. So systems for the real estate, how to find that real estate in the right locations, how to acquire it, how to fund it. What renovations do we need to do versus want to do, must do versus desire to do? And then the team building. Who do we need? And I've already identified the main players for you, the manager, that administrator, the caregivers, training them, retaining them. That's all a part of it. In addition to that, we need systems for operations. So we have what's called policies and procedures. That's standard operating procedures in residential assisted living. It includes things like emergency plans and menus and schedules and so much more. But operations, and then funding. I know you're wondering, Gene, how would I buy the home and start the business? How do I do that? There are 7 different ways that we teach how to fund it, with or without your own money. The very first deal I did when I was 18 was a no money down deal. It was no money down because I had no money. I had no credit. I had no clue. I had to. The last deal I did was no money down because I have the knowledge and I can do it. I use my money as the backup plan. So we can show you how to do it with or without your own money, but the funding itself, and then partners. I want to mention this because some of you are saying, Gene, I just want to do the real estate and I need a partner who's going to be the operations. Got it. Some of you are saying, I'm the operations person. I need a partner who's going to supply the real estate of the money. Got it. We have people that come to our training from all over the country. We have one starting tomorrow morning, early in the morning. We just got done with our virtual happy hour just before I started here. We've got about 80 people there who are coming to the class to learn how this is done. Everything there. And some of them are just the real estate. Some of them are just the operators. Some want to do both like I did. Some of them want to do something different, but you get the point. We can help bring you together with the right people who have what you're looking for. The concept of a 3-pack. The key is for you to be the owner. I want you to be the business manager. Make sure the money comes in and the money goes out, but everything below that, the manager, the caregivers, everything else is somebody else. And once you have that team and you're at the top, the leader of that pack, you can have more than one home. And it's easier to have more than one home. It's kind of like kids. The first one's hard. Boil the pacifier. Second one, they drop the pacifier, you pick it up and wipe it off, 5-second rule. Third, you don't even slow down. You say to your older kid, hey, you pick it up and put it in his mouth and on we go. Homes are the same way. The first one takes more to get through, and that's what we teach people how to do, how to start and then how to scale. 3-pack, 3 homes within 30 minutes. Why 3 homes? You can go bigger, you can go smaller, but now a manager can go to each one of those homes, one manager overseeing all 3 homes. The caregivers can be shared amongst the homes, the economies of scale with all of the supplies, everything there in that 3-pack. And if one home can make you $10,000 or $18,000 or $20,000 a month, imagine having 3 of those homes. Now, this formula I put together, one and done, because you can start a home, you can own that business and be hands off. Put in 5 hours a week and be the operator, but not be there every single day. That's kind of the goal of where you should be. But for those of you who are saying, I just want to be the money, I want to write a check and receive a check, I'm going to give you a 3-part formula for if you want to invest in or be the private investor or lender in a residential assisted living home. I'm going to go through this 3-part formula with you: opportunity, location, and operator. So let's talk about the opportunity first. First, does anybody need this? Well, I showed you the stats and the figures, the charts and the graphs. There are 30 million seniors. The silver tsunami is coming to shore and you cannot stop it. Is there a current demand? In other words, some of you are saying, well, Gene, I saw a big box facility being built in my town, Brookdale, Sunrise, Atria. Do they even need any more of this? There are people aging in your community every single day. Every single day, people are saying, I need to move into a home. I need help for mom. I need help for dad. But is there a current demand in your local area? We show you exactly how to do an internal market analysis so you'll know that. And then the third one, do the fundamentals work? Can I charge enough? After expenses, there's a profit. And the answer is, oh, yes. So think about what I've shared with you already. Is there an opportunity? Yes, right now, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Who needs this? Well, it's seniors who don't need a nursing home, that they can't stay home alone. Do the fundamentals work? Oh, in an average home, they work really well. And in a bigger home, they work even better. And location. Location is critical to the success of that residential assisted living home. And it's all about the demographics. See, even if you're in Malibu and you're looking on beachfront property with $5 million, that senior doesn't need to be on that beachfront. They're not surfing, they're not swimming, that's not what they do. Go 3 miles inland where the property is a lot less expensive, but the demographics are there. The people that live within 30 minutes of that home, more than likely that senior is going to have a family member within 30 minutes of that home. So the demographics within a 30-minute radius, 30-mile radius, depending on where you live. Then the current competition. How many homes, how many facilities, how many communities, how many beds exist, and how many beds are full, and how much need is coming in the future, that future opportunity. Now, those 3 elements right there, and laying it all out. Again, not level 5, not level 1. The sweet spot is at level 3, 4. Location, location, location. The demographics, how much money do they make? How many people are there? And now the final piece is the operator. And I'm going to say they're all critical, like the 3-legged stool, but this one is really, really important. For the operator, if you're going to invest the money, I want somebody who's got past experience or somebody who has knowledge and training. Now, when I say knowledge and training, that's what we provide at the REL Academy. We train people how to start, own, operate these homes. And then the next one is alignment of values. You see, if you're all about people and they're all about the money, that's not going to be a good alignment. And if you're all about the money and they're all about the people, that won't align either. So the alignment is important. So you need somebody who's going to be a great caregiver, a great manager, or a great operator, and you get the point. So I wanted to lay that formula out for you. When I say training, we've been training people for the last 7 years. We do 8 trainings a year. They were in the past all done in Phoenix, Arizona. You'd have to get on a plane, fly in, be in Arizona, fly in, be there for 3 days, fly out, put yourself on the plane, in the hotel, be in the class. But now, over the last 8 months, we've been doing virtual trainings. We've also done some live trainings too. We've got our next one coming up in December, but people are loving the virtual training as well. So the formula is laid out: opportunity, location, and the operator. Now that I've laid this all out for you, at this point, I want you to ask yourself a question. Does this check your boxes? Now, I remember I was doing this training that we do, our live training, and it was in Phoenix, Arizona, and there was a couple, and they were sitting in the front, and they said, by the time we were done at the 3 days, Mike, his name was, and his wife, Nancy, Mike just kind of rubbed his beard, and he was like this, and I'm like, Mike, what are you thinking? And he said, well, Gene, this REL just checks all our boxes. And so, well, how do you mean? And he started to list it off. He said, well, it's rewarding, it's meaningful, unlimited income potential. I don't have to work 60 hours a week, and it's giving me time freedom as well as financial freedom. In addition to that, it's financial security in a downturn, because no matter what happens in the economy, people are still going to take care of mom, and they're paying big money to do that. And also, he was about my age. He was starting to think about his kids and grandkids and thinking about a legacy, passing something on. Our whole company is built around helping other people. those seniors in the homes, those caregivers and managers and their families, and my family, not just financially, but giving them a career, something where they can sink their teeth into, where they've got a purpose and they've got meaning. So if you're looking for something that's good for you, your spouse, your family, something that's bigger than yourself, something that is growing, something that is great financially, but also you can help a lot of people, well, this can be the exact place, the exact thing that you've been looking for. Yep, you can make a lot of money, but we can help a lot of people too. Donald and Talinda, some of our students in Kansas City, he's a luxury home builder, and he said, Gene, as soon as I heard about this, I knew what I was going to do. He said, I'm building my own home, and he did. And this is his home in Kansas City, a beautiful home licensed for 14 residents. Lowe, one of our students in Texas, he's got 4 of these homes, and he's developing a 96-bed community, 16 beds in each home. Build it, fill it, build it, fill it, build it, fill it, 96 beds all in one area. Wendy, she came to our first national convention and she said, Gene, I just want to thank you. Because of you, your teaching, your team support, we now have 4 of these homes, and my family is grateful for everything you taught us. Carla Lee, she's now on our team, but when she came to the training in her 20s, she came and her arms were kind of folded and she didn't know what she was getting into, frankly, and she thought it was just about real estate. But by the time she was done, her mind was exploded, and she went home within 5 months, had her very first home. Within less than 3 years, she had 9 homes operating, 9 homes operating. She's incredible. Mitch on the left in the white shirt and his wife, Jennifer, these two own 7 homes in Colorado. Nisha and Shams, they live in Canada, but they invest in homes in Florida in the US. Sean, one of our students right here, he's got 2 homes, and they're now building 2 more homes on one lot, 2 16-bed homes, one a memory care home, one assisted living home. He's doing phenomenal. Brad and Angie Jones, these two, he's a home builder as well. She's a nurse who's a perfect fit for these two right here. So he loves the building part of it. She loves the operational part of it. And when I went out to see their very first home in Kansas City, it was bigger than most homes, licensed for 14 beds. And he gets between $6,000 and $7,000 per resident in the home. He built his next home. We did a virtual tour, and I said, how are you doing? He said, Gene, we actually had the first one, the one you're seeing in the picture right there. We had the home appraised, and the real estate is worth $500,000 more than what he built it for, $500,000 more than what he built it for. But he said what surprised him was they had an appraisal done on just the business, not the real estate. That's worth $500,000 more. The business, because of the cash flow, is worth $1.3 million. $1.3 million. That was the appraisal from the bank. The next one that he built, $1.8 million. He made some improvements, charges more, systems are in place, and more seasoning on the business itself. He's got over $3 million in business value that he created from nothing in less than 3 years' time. I don't know what you're looking for, what your purpose is, but people like Sherry and Rocky right here, they're on their 4th home, on their way to having 100 homes. That's their goal. 100 level 5 homes, packaging them together and selling it off to the hedge funds for hundreds of millions of dollars. That's their goal. That's their plan. And we're helping them get there. But this is about you. And I don't know if this is making sense to you or if this sounds like something you would like to learn about. But if it does, I want to give you an opportunity to learn. You know, years ago when I first started training other people, we did a home study course and people loved it, but they wanted to meet me and come out and see the home. So we did an in-person training. And Don's been out to many of those trainings, helping our students with the asset protection aspect of things and the tax part of things while we're teaching them how to do it. And then this year we launched doing the virtual trainings. We do 8 of these trainings a year. They're 3 days long. They're immersion classes, and they're all done live. And we do it live because that way your questions get answered. What your needs are uniquely different than somebody else's, we can address that. So I want to focus on that. And as a matter of fact, I told you I'm going to give you a special opportunity, and I'm going to do that right now. We have a virtual 3-day training, and we have one starting literally tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. West Coast time, 10 a.m. East Coast time. Now, We have another training in December coming up, live in person in Phoenix, Arizona. And then we have virtual training in January and virtual and in person all next year in 2021. But I'm going to give you an opportunity right now, and I want you to get serious for a moment. If this is something you want to do, if this has made sense, if this checks your boxes, if you can say why I want to do something, I want to make money, I want to help people, I don't want to be overworking, I don't want to work 80 hours. Some of you are saying, I don't want to quit my day job. That's fine. Some are saying, I want a real estate play, but I don't want to be the operator. I got it. But if this makes sense, I want you to get serious, and I want you to invest time, money, effort into yourself, into your education, into your knowledge. I'm going to give you a great opportunity here tonight. I'm going to say it out loud right now, and I'm going to say this right now. We have over 100 people who are listening to this right here, right now, live. And I'm going to say for 10 people, the offer that I'm going to give is available to you. 10 people. Now, the training that we do is a live training. Every one of them is updated. I just finished updating tomorrow morning's training, and I'm probably going to be updating it in the morning some more. It's live. It's always interactive. We have 10 of our staff members participate in the training each and every time, and we cover everything that you need to know, from the location, the marketing, the filling the home, how to find the team, build the team, how to put it together, understanding the numbers, how to do the financing. Everything is laid out for you. We do it virtual, and it's fun. People participate, get to know each other. The networking is incredible. And, I didn't think it was ever going to be that good, but it is that good. And one of the things I love the most is the virtual tours that we can now do because it's online. We can go to our students' homes in person, virtually, all across the country. Now, what you'll learn during that training is how to find the best opportunities in your area, how to determine if a home that you have now is right for this, how to attract investors and partners. I've raised tens of millions and helped students raise $50–60 million for their projects. In addition, how to find the highest paying clients, because some people only attract the lowest paying clients, $2,000 a month. We attract $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 a month. And how to do this with the right team to make your life easy, because I don't want you to overwork. I don't want you to overthink. I want you to do it right from the beginning. In addition to that, how to get it done in the next 3 to 6 months from right now. I want you to pause for a moment. Think July 4, because it's a day we all can remember, Independence Day. Think freedom. Imagine if you came to the training, you applied what we said, you had your hand held, you knew step by step, and on July 4th, you can say, I'm free financially. I've got the money coming in, and I don't have to go to work unless I want to. You can fire the boss. You can go in if you want to, or you don't have to at all. And at that point, you can either do another home or go to the beach. It's up to you. You decide. That's what I want you to have. That's where you should really just get excited about, meaning, man, if I could do that in a few months' time, that's a whole lot better than, I love real estate. I love fix and flip, but as soon as you sell it, you're done. You're unemployed. You got to go find another one. It's a grind. I know people that do 100 homes a month, year after year, and it's a constant grind. Why not just do one and done? You got your 10,000 a month flowing in. If you want to do more, you can do more. And if you want to sell them off to somebody else for hundreds of thousands, or in many cases, millions of dollars, because the business is that valuable, you can do that and do nothing, or do more. It's up to you. All of that, one and done. Now, in person, the classes are limited in size, but it's a lot of fun to get together. And we're doing an in-person class. The last one of this year is in December. I'll put the dates up in a little bit. We have a few seats left for that, but not many, because again, we are limited as to the number of people that can be in the class. And if you want to bring a partner to the live in-person class, you do pay extra for that second person. I want to say that right up front, for a spouse or a partner. But the virtual training that you can do from the comfort of your own home, just like we're doing right here, right now, you can have your spouse over your shoulder, business partner there, your kids, anybody else who you want to have. You can do that because you're going to be able to log in from your computer. Now, that first day is a data dump of information. We're going to pile it on. We're going to give it all to you. The same information and more that we cover in the live class: finding, funding, filling, licensing, marketing, analyzing, architecture reviews, staffing, and more. Day 2, virtual tours. We go out and we see homes all across America of students who have done it. We go into their homes and you can see it firsthand. That's the aha moment. That's when people get it. They're like, oh, I get it now. It's not just this, it's, you'll get it. And then the third day is deal structures, raising the capital, joint venture partners, the 10 critical steps for your success. And when it's all said and done with that class, you're awarded with the RALS certification. be an RALS specialist. And then I want to come out to see your home all across the country. I'd love to come to your open house, and if I can, I will. If not, we'll do a virtual tour, and if we can do it in person, we absolutely will. Now, that training itself is not free, and you knew that already. It's $5,000 to attend that training. Now, we do that because, number one, the value of the information, but number two, we don't want just anybody or everybody in that class. It's a limited class size. We protect each other from each other. And I think you know what I mean. I want the right people in that room. I don't want people that are just focused on money. I want people with a heart. And I want people who are there to invest in the real estate, people to be the operators. So those people, they have to pay money to come. Now, you know that I'm going to give you a discount, and I have some incredible news for you. I'm going to give you a discount on top of a discount. And again, I'm going to say it out loud because it'll start to hit on my phone in just a few minutes. It'll be the first 10 people receive that huge next discount. Because normally when somebody says, Gene, I want to come to the training, we discount that to $2,997, $2,997. Our classes fill up, they sell out. Virtually, we can have some more people, but live in person, they fill out. We do 8 classes a year, 3 days. They're all scheduled through 2021, but it's $2,997. Now, I'm going to give you a website right now and a code word. I want you to write this down right now. The website is RAL3day.com. So RAL, which is residential assisted living, but just put in the 3 letters, RAL, the number 3, and then DAY.com. I'm going to give you the code word, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use that in just a minute. The code word is PROTECT, 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 all capital letters. So all caps, PROTECT, PROTECT, for Protect Wealth. Now, those people who say, I'm in, this makes sense, I want to do this, I want to learn all I can, those first 10 people that take action, number one, and I'm being very clear on that, it's 10 people, you're going to receive an additional $1,000 discount. That means not $2,997, not $4,997, it's reduced all the way down to $1,997. And we're doing that, extending that for the virtual class as well as the in-person class. I'm going to give you the dates. You'll see them in just a moment, but don't even worry about the date. Because if you're saying, I don't know if I can do the date, it doesn't matter. Take advantage of the massive discount. Save yourself $1,000. Take advantage of the massive discount, and we'll find a date that works for you. Like I said, we've got training dates scheduled all through next year already. So I'm going to give you the whole list here in a moment. You're going to see this. I took this screenshot today. These are the classes for the next 3. November 20 through 22nd is a virtual online class that's starting in the morning. If you want to be in that class, you literally will register tonight. We're going to reach out to you tonight. We got some things we have to cover with you before you get started in the morning. There's some paperwork has to be signed. We want to do a little onboarding with you. The next one is in person in Phoenix. Don will be there himself. We're looking forward to that as well. December 11, 12, 13 in Phoenix, Arizona. Fly in. We do it right near the airport hotel, the Hilton Airport Phoenix, beautiful place. They love us, we love them. We have a great time. We typically have the whole place to ourselves, and it's great. And then our first, in January of 2021, our first training is going to be the 29th through the 31st. But I just circle those to say you can do any of those dates, but I want you to do this now. Not wait, not hesitate, but take action. So when you go to that website, RAL3day.com, you're going to see this page right here. And where it says, do you have a promo code? You'll see it in light blue right there. I want you to go ahead and click that button and put in the promo code that I gave you. Now, I gave you a promo code, PROTECT. When you do that, press the button that says apply. And when you apply it, it's going to reduce it by that additional $1,000. So make sure to use the promo code PROTECT, all caps. Put that in. It reduces it by an additional $1,000. And that's for the first 10 people. I'm being as clear as I possibly can. I've said that a bunch. We're going to cover a lot of information during those 3 days, not just the 5 keys to success and going into great detail on them, but the OLO formula. For those of you who are saying, well, I want to invest and I want to be the money side or the real estate side, I got it. We're going to talk about the 3 best ways to participate in that 3-legged stool. The importance of the business and understanding what does it take? What does it take to start up? What is the ongoing? Where do I break even? All of the details, the staffing, how do I find them? All of the details, and the residents, how do I fill the home? Where do they come from? We're going to teach you all of that. In addition, the 3-pack will show you why it's easier to have more than one home within that 30 minutes. And if you have one home that can make you 10, 3 homes can make you 3 times that, that's even better. The concept of do good and do well, I know that a lot of you can click on that. That makes sense to you. Yes, you want to make money, but you want to help other people. But frankly, your success is up to you. Your success is truly up to you. Don's not going to do it for you. Kendall's not going to do it for you. Scott Estel's not. I'm not. It's up to you. I'm willing to teach you and show you and hold your hand and walk you through, but nobody's going to make you do anything. But if you truly want something, if you have a why that is strong enough, well, you're going to do whatever it takes. But knowledge is the key to your success. If you know what to do, now it's just a matter of being committed. And tonight, I've touched the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to know, but you have enough to make the next decision, just one step at a time. We're going to cover a lot during those 3 days: case studies, virtual tours. We're going to talk about how to put the deal together. We're going to talk about how to create a business plan to raise the capital. I was on the bank yesterday. I was on the phone yesterday with the bank, the largest SBA lender in the entire country. And he was saying, Gene, the business plan that you teach people how to put together is one of the best we have ever seen. That's how we actually met each other. They called us the largest SBA lender in the entire country, calling us and telling us that. I just saw the first person just came through. So one person has already signed up. Congratulations. The next one is how to raise capital. You know, raising capital is a skill that I learned early on because I had no money, had no credit, no clue. We're going to teach you how. We're going to show you where the money is, how to get it, how to raise capital, no matter what you do. Whether you want to buy a home and rent it out, whether you want to do apartments, whether you want to do residential assisted living or whatever it is, stocks, it doesn't matter. Raising capital is a skill that you need, and we're going to teach you that. We're going to show you how to attract money because the reality is all the money that exists is already out there. You can't create it. You can't make it. You're going to attract it. And we'll show you exactly how to do that, what that looks like. The next one is how to locate and work with angel investors. I've been an angel investor. I've been a private lender where I've invested on an angel investment over $500,000 in one deal. But the reality is they talk a certain language. They need certain things. You need to be able to know that and communicate with them. We'll teach you how that's done. So I've given you a huge discount. I've given you every reason to take advantage of this. Your code word, once again, is PROTECT, PROTECT. You see it right there, all capital letters. And make sure you do this right now. I said the first 10, there's already been one. I'll watch my phone. I'll tell you as it goes along. $1,000 Protect Wealth discount. It's there for you. So I've laid it all out. And at this point, it's really up to you. You know, I shared about my father-in-law just a few minutes ago, and, you know, it's still heavy on my heart, but it just makes it all the more important. There's so many people out there that need this help. This is the most impactful thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of things, guys. I'm getting up there in age, and the reality is there's a lot of people that need help. This is an opportunity that's not a flash in the pan. It's not a someday or want to do, or maybe it works. This is working now, and it's going to get better and better and better. And you're at a good time to get in. You're at a great time to get in. You're not on the bleeding edge. You didn't have to figure it out. I did. I'm willing to show you how, and I'm an excellent teacher, and I can show you how to do it. But what I can't do is figure you out and why you do what you do. And maybe you tried something before and you kind of gave up on yourself and you said to yourself, well, you know, I'm not sure if I can. I'm not sure if I'm good enough. And I also know that some of you, you said to your spouse, I'm going to do something, and you didn't follow through. Don't blame yourself and don't get down on yourself. Here's the point. Maybe it just wasn't important enough to you. Maybe it just didn't make sense enough. But if this did, and I know I'm talking to some of you right now, you already know in your heart, this is exactly what you're looking for. It's exactly what you've wanted to find. And now you did. I meet people all the time who are like, Gene, I've been thinking about doing this for 20 years. And thank you for coming around. We just did our virtual happy hour, and there was one woman there. She's older than I am. And she said, Gene, I just heard about this 2 weeks ago. And she said she could feel her heart flutter that this is it. It's her purpose, her moment. And if you're looking for that, and I know a lot of people are right now, the world is turned upside down, and you're looking for security. You're looking for safety. You're looking for something to put your arms around. And you're looking for a place to belong, a family that is willing to show you how and support you through it. Well, we're the ones. We can show you how this is done. You can pick a date, and if you need to change the date, you absolutely can. But obviously, if you're going to sign up for the class that starts tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, you got to do it right now. And if you want to be there in that live class in person in December, absolutely pick that one now, because that class is virtually full right now. I don't know how many spots are left, but you know what to do. Put in that code, or make sure to hit the button that says apply. When you hit that button that says apply, it's going to give you that additional $1,000 discount. That additional $1,000 discount is just for you. The code word is protect, and it's going to give you $1,000 discount. I can't be any clearer. It's as good as it gets right there. I've said for the first, oh, there's the second one. So the first 10 people taking action, and again, we've just had 2, so make sure that is just 2. Yep. So if there's somebody else, now's your chance. $1,000 discount. You got it. Now I went through a lot of information. I realize, and you have some questions, and I want to take the time to go ahead and answer those questions for you. So I'm going to leave this on the screen so there is no excuse that you see it right there, not hiding it from anybody. You've got it right there. And Kendall, Don, thank you so much for allowing me to share this with this group. And I want to thank all of you who are here and participated. Those of you where this has made sense to you and this checks your boxes and you want to learn more about this, sign up right now. This is your chance. This is your opportunity. Take advantage of the discount, and that'll be gone. So successful people take action. Others will hem and haw, and opportunity passes them by. If this makes sense, take advantage of it. It's just that simple. You make your decision right now. I'm going to go ahead and just do some open Q&A. Don and Kendall, if you don't mind, if you guys can feel free to read those off for me, because I'm guessing some people have some questions. You can type those into the Q&A box right there. Let's see if I can pull up my mouse to get, there it is.
Gene, amazing. Thank you. And I absolutely endorse what you do. I've been down, like you say, about every 6 weeks for, I don't know, it's going on 3 years now. I've met your people. I love your people. Oh my gosh. They are the heart of the earth. They are caregivers. But I don't know that they're all caregivers, but they have a big heart. They want to do good and make an impact. And that's, I guess that's the message. Okay.
Yep.
David is saying condolences to your family. And Jane, I did not know about your father-in-law. I hope Mona's dealing well with this. I sure love her.
Yeah.
All right.
The good thing is, Don, they're all together, which is great. I talked to her just before. All of her brothers and sisters, there's 7 of them, are all together. They're enjoying, they're recounting the good times, and that's a good thing. So just for that, thank you, David. Thank you, Don. And for all of you listening, if there's somebody in your life that you want to say something to them, you need to say something to them, say it. Reach out to them, text them, call them, email them, go see them. But don't wait, because it could be too late. All right, so do that. My little side comment.
Leroy's asking, do you train admin people as well?
Very interestingly, first of all, every state's a little bit different as to what an admin is and what the qualifications are. We don't do that training itself. There's training that's available in every state. But just to give you an idea, some states like Texas, the training requirement is very small. It's 24 hours. So they can get that done in a weekend or a week, something like that. You have to be, I think, 21 years old, as well as a GED or higher. But then you have other states like Arizona, where the qualifications are much more. You need to be a caregiver first, and that's about 60 plus hours of training just to be a caregiver. In addition to that, you need 2 years of experience as a caregiver, then an additional 40 hours to be a manager. So we don't do those trainings, and I don't want you to go through the training, but we can direct you to places that do the trainings for managers and caregivers, etc.
But you do talk a lot about policies, procedures.
Oh yeah.
How to fill the home. You cover a lot of things that an administrator would be very, very helpful to go through the.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to buy from you, or do we get everything included in a detailed business plan?
Got it. Bradley's question. Great. Love it. And here's the deal, guys. My goal is to teach you what you need to know. If you want help after that, if you want us to do your business plan, we can do that. That's extra. If you want us to consult you after the fact, that's extra. But we're going to teach you everything you need to know, so you'll definitely be able to do it. There is a piece you're going to need to either create, go buy, get, and that's the policies and procedures. So you can either get that from us at an additional cost, or you can go find that, get that, buy that someplace else. But that is the one piece you'll need. Other than that, we're going to teach you what you need to know.
Lionel is asking, what's the difference between assisted living and memory care? A
Yeah.
great question, because that always comes up in your classes.
You know, assisted living is, let's just think of it this way. We're dealing with the elderly. You can do all kinds of care. We deal with the elderly, and it's somebody who needs help physically. So that may mean bathing, eating, medication management, feeding, housekeeping, that kind of thing. Memory care, somebody may need physical help, but they also have mental challenges. And what I mean by that is memory care, dementia. And you know, it's blown me away, Don, as I've been in this business now for 7 years. You hear memory care, you hear dementia, you think that's one thing. There's like 400 different types of diagnosed dementia, 400. But the reality is, a home that is used for assisted living, those seniors, some of them are going to have memory care issues. So I want you to be prepared for that. That means your caregivers are going to have a little additional training. Ours do, yours should. But if you want to just focus on the memory care, a couple of things. Number one, we'll show you the extra things you have to do in the house. And it's really only a few things. A secure yard. You need a magnetic lock on the doors so they can't just turn a knob and walk out. In addition to that, the caregivers need a little bit of additional training. The good news is, people who move into memory care or have memory care issues, they typically pay more. Might be $1,000 or $1,500 per month more on average. In addition to that, they typically live longer. They move in younger, they live longer, so they're going to be in that home a longer period of time at a higher rate. So it's a beautiful thing. A lot of our students specialize in memory care inside their assisted living home.
Okay, great. Great presentation. Whoops, skipped that one. Talk to us about COVID and
Sure.
how that's impacted your care facilities. Does that reduce the number of people wanting to come into a home or needing care? Do they want to stay home a little bit longer? Or how does that affected your business?
Yeah. And I'm going to give you the short answer, then a longer, more in-depth one. Ultimately, it's been a huge positive for us. So let me explain. All of us have heard the news we've been watching where they talk about seniors in nursing homes dying. We're not a nursing home. This is an assisted living home. It's not a nursing home. It's not medical. So there were some really, and I'm going to use the word stupid decisions made by some government leaders to say if somebody's sick with COVID, a senior, move them back into the nursing home. Really stupid. They did that. I called it from the beginning saying that is the worst thing you can do. And it was. They did. What we do is not we're not doing medical. So it's not a nursing home. So that's not us at all. In assisted living, when you have a community with 200 seniors, you might have 30 different people walking through the front door that are working there during the day. So 200 people, 30 people walking through the door, that's a lot of movement. There's a lot of potential for stuff from the outside to come in. They've had some issues on the big box facilities. In our homes, 10 seniors, 6 seniors, 15 seniors, a lot less seniors in that one spot, a lot less caregivers and people coming through the front door. So the home itself has been isolated from a safer environment than those big box problems that they've had. Now, how it's affected us, because he asked the question, I'm looking at Bradley's question here, how it's changed things a little bit is those people who are saying, my mom needs assisted living, my dad needs assisted living. Some of them have said, I'm going to wait until the all clear signal is given. Then I'm going to bring mom or dad in. A lot of those people cannot wait because the alternative is take care of mom and dad at home by themselves. They're not equipped to do that, right? Or it's really expensive to have that one-on-one care coming into the home. So a lot of those people who were sitting on the sidelines are now like, we can't wait. So now what they're looking for is, where can I bring mom where she's going to be well taken care of, safe, loved, all of that, but where I can also come and visit, come and see my mom. And in the smaller homes, we have a lot more latitude, state by state rules, but a lot more latitude to have those visitors come for outdoor visits or even indoor visits than the big box corporate facilities that they have to toe the corporate line and can't do that. So it's been a positive. We've had people moving out of big box into our homes because they can't see their mom in the big box, they can in ours. We've had people moving into ours because now it's known that smaller is better, and it's getting out there. I've been touting that for years, Don, and you know that, but there's been articles written. Senior Housing News had an article in the summertime talking about how COVID has affected senior housing and saying smaller is better. There was just an article in Market Watch, and I was quoted in that as well. And that just came out November 5th, I think it was, so a week and a half ago, and talking about, again, smaller homes, the residential setting. It's becoming known. Even the big box facilities are trying to figure out how to get small. They're trying to become like us. We're already it. We're the place to be. So it's been a net positive for us.
Sounds like it's much safer. Okay,
Much.
how much capital do we really need to start a business like this, Gene?
Yeah, and there's three parts to that question. One is the real estate. So if you own the real estate, that's taken care of. If you lease the real estate, it's a lot less. If you're going to purchase the real estate, well, typically there's a down payment, etc. Two, renovations. What has to be done to the house in order for it to be used for this? Depends on the house. There's some homes where I've gone into that I'm looking to buy, and it's like there's virtually nothing that needs to be done. Maybe we just paint it, put some grab bars in, and it's $10,000 or less. Others, where some of our students have bought homes and done remodel of the existing home and additions that were twice the size of the original home because they want that location. So those might be a $300,000 purchase and $600,000 in renovation. So it could be a small number or a big number depending on what you want to do to the physical building. So there's three things. One is the purchase. So if you own it, nothing. If you lease it, less. If you buy it, down payment and financing. Two, the renovation. And again, there's banks that will finance the renovations. Or if you lease it, we can get the landlord to do the renovations we need because we're willing to pay a higher rent and a longer lease. But the third element is going to be the business startup. So any business, and here's, I've been consulting people on starting a business for decades now. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make is undercapitalization. Undercapitalization, what I mean by that is they don't have enough money to start up that business and get up to break even. People don't understand that you have negative cash flow at the beginning. We have to turn on the lights and hire people and get inventory in a store. Same thing with us. We have to renovate that house. We have bills that have to be paid, get the caregivers, and then we get in a resident, then two residents. So it's going to take you a point of time where you get to break even. Now, once we're at break even, it's all good from there. So how much money do we need for that business startup? That number could be 20,000, it could be 80,000. Depends on the size of depends on how good you are, how much training you have, how well you listen to directions. It'll be less if you do, right? And it depends on how much needs to be done and how long it's going to take it to do it. Now, here's the question that wasn't asked, but I want to answer is, doesn't have to be your money. You can do this with or without your own money. So the very first one that I did, I bought the real estate and the business combined, everything combined, and I used other people's money. 3 different loans, private lenders, a first, a second, and a third, 3 different loans to finance 100% of the purchase plus more. As a matter of fact, at the closing, I actually put about $40,000 into my bank account. So I used that for reserve capital, and I used some of it to fix up the house the way I wanted it to be. But the point is, you can do it with or without your own money.
And sometimes it's using your IRA funds, sometimes it's your 401k. Sometimes we use other people's money in an LLC with buyout clauses. So over the next 5 years, you eventually own everything. There's so many options.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, for Canadians, does this work better in the US?
It's really interesting. Does it work better in the US? I know the rules in the US, and I don't know all the specific rules in Canada. Out of the 5 provinces in Canada itself, there's different rules in each one. We do have a socialized medicine in Canada to an extent, and there is care that's available at no cost for seniors in Canada. But just like healthcare in Canada, a lot of them pay for private healthcare. They pay for private long-term care for the elderly as well. So yes, it can be done in Canada. I don't know the rules. The Canadians that have come to our class typically have applied it in US investments or homes. That's typically how they've done it there.
Is this a business model, Bradley's asking, that we can manage remotely? Do you need to be there hands-on every day? Can you do it from a different city? How do you manage yours? You're not there all the time.
Not at all. And I love the question. So the answer is yes, you can do it remotely. As a matter of fact, we did a survey at our national convention. There were about 30% of the homeowners operate remotely. So when I say remotely, it's not in your town. Could be in a different state, could be in a different country. But you're not going to go there every day, every week, maybe not even every month. You may go there twice a year. So here's the key to this whole thing, you guys. Your mindset at the beginning needs to be, if I want to do this remotely, I want to be hands off. Can you do it? Absolutely, yes. Set yourself up from the beginning to do it that way. Key person, manager. That manager who is there at the home, that's your key person right there. And whether you're right next door to it or 1,000 miles away, that manager is still the key person. The difference is, are you going to stop over every day and second guess them or check the temperature of the hot water, or are you going to let the manager do things, right? So I'm going to highly encourage you to do it hands off and remotely. Right now, we're remote, but I can be in a care home just like that by turning on the computer, and they can walk around with their, we can do FaceTime on the phone, and they can walk around and we can see things. I can talk to the manager, the caregivers, even residents or family members. So you definitely can do it remote, but there needs to be somebody in the house. That's the manager. I don't want that to be you.
Good, good. All right, our staffing, our price is different when it's a memory care as opposed to a senior living. Is staffing and pricing.
Got it. So the staffing need is going to be pretty much the same. And let me explain. The state doesn't have a big requirement. The state will say you determine what your need is. So if you're saying I need one caregiver to take care of 10 people, that's fine with the state. If you say you need one caregiver to take care of 60 or 80 people, that's fine with the state. Now think about that for a moment. In a big box facility, the ratio of caregiver, direct caregiver staff to the residents is typically 15 to 1 or higher. So 15 or 20 to 1 caregiver. In our homes, residential assisted living, we could do that, but we don't. We go for 5 to 1. So 5 residents to 1 caregiver. So if you had 10 or 12 residents, 2 caregivers during the day, 1 caregiver at night would be very typical. And if it's memory care, I might have 8 residents during the day as opposed to 10 or 12, because a smaller community, it's going to be a better situation for those residents who are there. So less people, it's less confusing and commotion for them. So I might have 8 residents and I might have 2 caregivers. So the ratio, we might increase it a little bit, make it better, might be 4 to 1 or even 3 to 1. Keep in mind, you're charging an extra $1,000 or $1,500 per person in memory care. So an average might be $55,000 per month versus $40,000 per month. So to have the extra $3,000 or $4,000 to be paying a caregiver, you've more than have that money.
Good, good, good. Okay, Lisa's asking if these care facilities work better in warm locations, Phoenix, Texas, Florida, or could you do it in Wisconsin or Alaska?
Yeah, great question. So here's the thought. And again, I love the fact he asked this, and it was Rita, right? So the point is, you're asking the question about warm weather, and I totally get that. Most people think, hey, as soon as you retire, you report to Florida, right? Or you report to Arizona. No, most people retire and they stay in their own state, neighborhood, the same home, and they want to be around their kids and their grandkids. So most people are going to age in place. They're not going to go out and move to Florida or Arizona. Having said that, there are a lot of seniors that do move to warmer climates, and there's a lot of seniors in Florida and Arizona. The reality is there's also more care homes in Florida and Arizona and warm weather states already. There's less care homes in those cold weather states. So in Rhode Island, for instance, one of our students opened up the very first home in the entire state of Rhode Island, the very first one. There's only a handful of them now, years later, but there's like no competition at all. Where in Florida, there's over 3,000 of these homes, but there's 20 million people in Florida and probably 5 million of them need care. So it depends, but you can do it anywhere. Cold weather, warm weather, doesn't matter. And if somebody moved to Florida and now they need care, they're probably going to move closer or back to where the family is so the family can see them. So that's very common as well. They move back to that cold weather state anyway.
Okay. Isabella is saying if they purchase your course, asking if they purchase your course, is it valid? How long is it Do you have 30 days to use it, or how long is it good for?
You know, I'm going to say to you, number one, I want you to lock in your discount tonight. So, oh, there's another one. So we're down to whatever, I haven't kept count. But the point is, lock in your discount now. I want you to come to the class as soon as you possibly can. Come tomorrow morning if you can. Come in December, come in January, but do it within the next 1 year. Okay, sometime within 2021, get it done, but don't put it off. Just schedule it, make it happen. And if you schedule it and you can't make it happen, let us know. We'll push it to the next one, but come sooner rather than later.
Good, good. What is the availability finding qualified people in today's market to staff your RAL facility? Is that really hard? Your
Yeah.
average renovation costs for properly maintaining. So where you get two questions.
Well, let's do the staffing one first. First of all, love the question, the way you asked it, because you said qualified. That's the word they used, right?
Yep.
I like that, qualified, because you can put an ad in Craigslist and say caregivers wanted, and your phone will ring. Not a problem at all. I want quality people. I want people who are good at what they do. I want the right people. We actually have a tool, an assessment tool that we use for managers and caregivers. It's a personality assessment, but it basically talks about their skills, etc. And we choose out of, there's 4 different types of personalities that work, 2 for managers, 2 for caregivers. We know exactly what they are, and that's part of what we do give you at the training itself. So you'll understand what makes a good caregiver, what are we looking for. So now availability, there's more people right now unemployed than there were a year ago. Now, I don't think it's going to last, but I think a lot of people are figuring it out. Keep in mind that person who's a caregiver, again, they're not a doctor, they're not a highly skilled something. They're minimum wage plus a couple of dollars, but they're not going to be a barista. They're not going to be working as a store clerk. They love seniors. They want to take care of seniors. Let me give you a little clue, a little pro tip. Sometimes we get volunteers from like colleges, fraternities, sororities who need service projects, or churches or high schools with sororities are a great fit. They come in, they do some work with the seniors, and 1 out of 10 of them is like, I love working with seniors, and that becomes their new vocation. You actually gave them an opportunity to discover something about themselves, and you attract people in. Others just kind of partner with the local colleges that train nurses and CNAs, et cetera. And this is a job that they can do now. Some end up doing it full time, but finding good qualified people, that's the goal. That's what we teach you how to do. We've done it. We know how to do it. And you can definitely find it's easier now than it was a year ago.
Great. We've only got time for just a couple more questions. Talk to me about renovation costs and how to properly, I guess it depends on the level of home that you want to do, but what are average renovation costs look like?
Yeah, and it's hard, Don, to answer that clearly because it's always specific to that property. So again, I'm gonna state there's some homes that I've been in that need very little work at all, and others you might be easier just to knock it down and rebuild it from scratch. So location, location, location is number one. We have a lot of students who are picking the right location and building from scratch because now they got a brand new home designed to suit, and it's exactly what they've always wanted versus I got to make something work that's there. So the renovation costs, there's certain things you're going to have to do, and it may be sprinklers or fire suppression, grab bars, maybe take out some carpets, put in some smooth, easy to maintain flooring, those kind of things. But it's going to depend on your home, that home itself. Suffice it to say, if you have an older home, it's going to cost more than a newer home. If you have a multi-level home, it's not as desirable as a single-level home. If you want more space, if you've got a 2-car garage attached to the home, that's going to save you money on an expansion versus we're putting on a brand new addition with new foundation walls and roof, off the back of the house. So it depends. I really can't get clearer than that unless I saw the house.
Yeah. Do most people look for in their own local area, or are they looking to build elsewhere?
I think most people start in their own local area or a place that they're interested in investing in or being a part of. Like we've had people say, well, if I don't want to do it in my local area or it's not good to do it here, I'm going to do it in Hawaii, right? Because at least I'm going to get a business trip out of it twice a year. So it really depends, but I would say more people try to do it closer to them than they do far away from them, but it's also going to depend on your market. I mentioned Hawaii, it's an expensive market. If you live in Maui, you might say, wow, The same house, if I were to buy that in San Diego, would be half the price. And if I did it in Mississippi, it'd be a quarter of the price. So it depends on the location, the real estate, the inventory, the availability. But doing it locally is probably the most common. And then people after that, once they figure out what I've been telling them, and I'm telling you guys from the beginning, hands off, hands off, hands off. Whether you're 100 miles away or next door, it doesn't matter. You're hands off. So I don't want you driving over there to check on every little thing.
You know, Gene, what I love about you and the classes that I've attended is that students can ask you anything.
Yeah.
And you're kind of an open book. You'll explain it to them. Thank you for that.
Oh,
How's
you're
the
welcome.
staff turnover controlled to ensure continuity in relationships, satisfaction? How does talk to us about turnover?
Yeah, when it comes to staff turnover, that's a really interesting question because you have to think about it differently. Think about it from that employee's standpoint, that caregiver. They still need a job. They're going to go work someplace. The question is, why are they leaving you? Why are you driving them away? Why are they choosing to go work for somebody else? And I'll tell you right now, it's not because they're paying them 25 cents an hour more. So are you an employer of choice? Or are you an employer of last, resort? I'm going to encourage you. We'll teach you how, but be an employer of choice. We have caregivers who bring in other caregivers because they love working with us and they want to be a part of the team. You want to become an employer of choice, no matter what your business is, you guys. There's contractors. I have somebody right now doing $100,000 worth of landscaping on a property, and that the people that work for this company, you can tell they're working their butts off, right? They could work for anybody in this day and age, but they like working with this company. And I know they do because it was about 3 years ago, we did a similar project landscaping wise, and some of the same guys. I saw one just today and he said, "Hey, you were at the other property." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's still there years and years, and some of them for a decade later. So again, it's not the employee churn, it's you not being the employer of choice. So be a good place to work. And that doesn't mean you have to pay for their health insurance. Everybody thinks, well, that means I got to pay for benefits. No, it doesn't. Maybe you just need to respect them, treat them better. Maybe it's giving them a little something. Maybe it's a Costco membership. Maybe it's paying for their life insurance, which costs you $10 a month, not their health insurance, which is $1,000 a month. So it's little things that make you an employer of choice, but it starts with that respect.
I absolutely agree. And Rita is asking a great question, and that was my concern too, is talk to us about the liability. I expected it to be much, much higher in this business when you're dealing with medicines and slips and falls and elderly people. But I've been very, very surprised that how low the liability is. And you teach them how to
Right.
offset that, don't you?
Yeah, and obviously we're going to get that question here, Don. I'm surprised it didn't come up first, so that's great. But when we talk about liability, one of the things that we teach and we encourage you to do is to have liability insurance. You don't even need to have that. You should have it. It's silly not to have it. Well, Gene, how much does it cost? It must be outrageous. $1 or $2 a day per resident. So 10 residents, 30 days, $300 to $600 a month. It's a line item. It's not a big, huge cost. Well, Gene, why is it so inexpensive then? Because it's elderly people. They are going to slip and fall, this, that. I get it. And the reason why, there's another one there. So somebody else just signed up. I think we're at 4 or 5 right now. The reason why, guys, is because it's not a medical facility. So it's not doctors, nurses, and gurneys. Just like you in your own home, if you had a medical emergency, what would you do? You'd probably call 911. They'd come with an ambulance to take you to a doctor or a hospital. Same thing with senior housing. We do have doctors that come to the house calls. You can do that in your own personal home too, by the way. Doctors are willing to come to you. So a doctor can come in, but if it's a medical emergency, it's 911. It's get them to a hospital, right? We're not medical. The next thing is, and Don mentioned this, we do teach you. One of the great things about this industry is we can choose who moves in. So we choose. It's not like somebody wants to move in, so we have to let them move in. No, we can say no. And why would we say no? Well, it could be because the level of care is higher than we want to take care of. Maybe it's higher than we're trained to or able to or capable of. If it's medical, we can't have them there. We're not nurses and doctors, can't do it. But 9 times out of 10, if we say no, it's the family. And when I say the families are the ones that are deciding who and where and how much, but maybe the family is demanding. And you know that because you ask them questions like, well, why are you moving your mom into an assisted living home? And if the response is, well, mom fell 5 times at home last week, and when she moves into your care home, she better never fall again. It's like, well, hang on for a second. I can guarantee a mom's going to fall. And if your expectation is she's never going to fall again, then this is not a good fit. We're on the same team here. The difference is we have caregivers 24/7. And if she does, we're going to know it. And we're going to call you and we're going to call 911. She'll get the attention she needs. But if the expectation is she's never going to fall, it's not a good fit. Let's not even start. On the other hand, let's just say somebody does move in, they fall, they break their hip, they go to the hospital, they pass away 2 weeks later. Tragic, but not unexpected. It's not like nobody moves their mom or dad into your care home thinking mom's going to live forever, right? They don't think that. As a matter of fact, they typically live longer than they think they're going to because we feed them and they get exercise, they move around, start doing better. They very, very rarely move home. They're going to stay there the rest of their lives, but more than likely they live there for longer. So now think about it differently. Think about that family where mom's living in the home now. They thought it was going to be 2 years and now she's been there for 5 years and it's $5,000 a month. So 60 grand a year, 5 years, $300,000 in, which is a lot more than they ever budgeted for. They've been coming out of their own pocket and mom slips, falls. They get the call. They meet him at the hospital. 2 weeks later, she passes away. Tragic, but not unexpected. We knew something like that could happen. And also they no longer have to pay $5,000 a month. So they're not telling you that, but I'm just telling you that's more real. Now, we have trained thousands of people, collectively tens of thousands of residents through the years. And the reality is we can count on a hand, less than one hand, where anybody has had any kind of a legal issue because they've done it properly. But have the right insurance, have the right asset protection. And that's why Don comes to the training, make sure people do things right. And you should be just fine, but you need to do things correctly as well.
Correct. Follow your procedures, have them, follow Gene's advice, and have good insurance, legally structured, but it's not nearly as big a risk as I had assumed that it would be. Wow. Anyway,
Yeah.
is the home healthcare business, as this grows, is this a threat to your business?
When we say home health care, I think what they're referring to is caregivers going into somebody's home to
Correct.
take care of them. Got it. It's not a threat. As a matter of fact, they're partners with us. And let me explain. The sweet spot for those home health care are 4 to 8 hours of care. So 4 to 8 hours. They typically have a minimum of 4 hours. If they're going to send somebody to somebody's home, it's 4-hour minimum. But after 8 hours at $23 an hour, which is the national average, that's like $200 a day. That's $6,000 a month. It's cheaper for them to move into the assisted living home and get 24-hour care. So with those home health agencies, we want to partner with them to say, look, when it comes time because they're going to try to get them to get 24-hour care. And I know of home health agencies that are charging 15, 18, 20,000 or more per month, staffing that one person in a home 24/7. But if that person can't afford that, they're going to lose them anyway. I want them to refer them to us, and I'd rather pay them a referral fee. You bring them over to us, we'll give you $1,000. At least you got something as you lost that client. And also, if we need a caregiver on an emergency basis, we can call them to hire one of their staff to come and help supplement our staff if needed as well. So we don't see them as a threat. We see them as partners in the industry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, when we buy the RAL real estate, does the operator upgrade the house with safety bars, walk-in showers, or does the real estate owner usually do that?
And the answer is it depends. Most of the stores that you go into, or in the olden days, we used to be able to go into stores, right? The tenant who's there, who operates the business, probably did a lot of what's called tenant improvements. TI, tenant improvements. They probably put in shelves and lights and flooring and bathrooms and so on. They might spend $80,000 outfitting that store. You walk through the front door. It wasn't the building owner, it wasn't the landlord, it was that store. 10 years later, their lease is up, they move out to a different location. The next one comes in, they spend another 80 grand improving that. So that's very common in commercial where the tenant does the improvements, tenant improvements. You can negotiate that. You can also negotiate with the landlord to say, look, you do these improvements and I'll pay you a higher rent. So it's a negotiation piece. It's not a hard and fast must do. It can go either way, and it depends on which side of the equation you're on as in how I would consult you as in what you should do.
Great answer. Well,
Yep.
Gene, I think we've run out of time, and I think we've also run out of questions.
You guys do great.
And I appreciate your honesty and just straightforwardness here with this. If you're interested in this, if this does check your boxes,
Yeah.
if you want to do well and do good, I really, again, I endorse this. I went into this a little skeptical. I knew Gene. I'd known Gene forever, but I've been through those houses. I've seen the people. I endorse what he's doing highly. If this clicks your buttons, then sign the, do the training and get started and figure out if this is right for you. Gene, any closing comments before we wave
Yeah.
off tonight?
I'm gonna just reshare a couple of things I said, which is you're all gonna get involved in this one way or the other. And I think a lot of people, especially in this day and age, this time, you're looking for something to belong to and something good and important and lasting. The seniors need us. The need is high. It's not just a real estate play, it's a business opportunity. You don't have to do it hands-on. And you don't have to try to figure this out on your own. We've done it. We've shown thousands of people how to, and we can show you how to do it too. And if nothing else, as I said right at the beginning, do one of these homes, just one for yourself. Don't leave your kids with a burden. Leaving them in the lurch and that burden where it's going to cost them $300,000 in the future for their long-term care for a mom or dad. You can move into the master bedroom and be the king of that house and live for free and pass on a blessing to the kids, a cash flowing asset and business that can be sold or whatever it may be. So choose wisely. And again, I appreciate you all listening tonight and spending the time with me. And thank you, Don and Kendall, for inviting me to be a part of this. I really appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to working with all those people that did register, get signed up. And for the rest of you who haven't yet, take action. Lock in your discount, huge one. You got the code, it's Protect. You've got the website, ral3day.com. I look forward to meeting you in person and seeing you very soon. Thank you very much for having me here, Don and Kendall. Appreciate it.
Have a great evening to everyone. Thank you for being on. Good night.